Hello. Today I'm going to talk about how to forecast inflation. I'm going to talk about the theory part, but also use an example, show some Python code, and I'm also talk about what are the issues that normally people face while doing forecasting inflation. So if for someone who is planning to do a project, let's say a final year project for inflation forecasting as part of your master's degree, or you are learning data science or quant finance, you will find this project or this particular video useful. And if someone interested in a project in financial markets, this is one good area which you can pick up for a project. So you could do time series forecasting of inflation for a given country, but you could also do it for multiple countries, and that would be a really good project. You can showcase that on your CV. Okay. So what I'm going to do is that we'll be using time series analysis. So we'll be using the financial time series analysis, and we'll be using Python for that. And we'll be forecasting US CPI. Right, CPI stands for Consumer Price Index. It's as indicator of inflation. There are various indicators of inflation, by the way. This is one such indicator. So what we will do is that we will forecast the inflation, forecast the CPI, and for that we'll take the CPI data. It's publicly available data. So if you just do a Google search, US CPI data, you can find this particular data set easily available to you. You can also find CPI data on Federal Reserve's website. You can find this data. We'll use the traditional statistical modeling technique, not the LSTM type models, but the AR, MA, ARMA, ARIMA type models. So we'll use one variety of ARIMA model. If you do not know ARIMA model, you haven't studied ARIMA model, there is a video on my channel which talks about time series ARIMA model in detail. It's a 1 hour video. So you can go to the playlist on time series analysis on this channel, and you can find that video. Okay, and finally we'll study a bit about what are the challenges one faces while doing forecasting inflation, and how do you validate such a model, such a forecast, how to interpret the results, and where you could use what are the shortcomings of such a forecasting model. We'll talk all of that. Okay, as I've said, we are using the CPI data. For the US, it's a monthly data. So yeah, and you could, if we are taking a year inflation rate, so for several years, but you could also forecast a monthly inflation rate. That is also a possibility, but for this example we have taken the yearly inflation rate, and the data that is available is in monthly inflation. So we have to convert the monthly inflation rate to yearly inflation rate first before doing the modeling work, and this is often the case, right? If you are doing any time series modeling, converting it to a right data set is perhaps the first step in the process. If you want to do monthly data into yearly, you have to first do the conversion. Sometimes the daily data needs to be converted to monthly data or quarterly data. So that step is very crucial. As I've said, this is publicly available. So we are not using any proprietary data here. You can also get access to this data easily and do that yourself. And in fact, I would highly recommend you to do something on this. For Python, we'll be using the basic Python packages such as the pandas. Just to read the data, we'll be using the data reader, and we'll convert the data into yearly data first. That's Yeah, that's not a big deal. What's important, and this is how you do it. Okay, um, it's simple. Is you simply use the basic available function percentage change. That would do the work. Okay, so how do you go about doing the forecasting, right? Now it's a time series data which could be stationary or non-stationary, right? So first thing to check is that whether it's a stationary series or not, right? And how can you check that? Use the ACF PACF, okay, if you want to visualize it. Okay, so what is ACF PACF? I'm not going to details of these things. I highly recommend you to go through the time series course that I have on this channel if you want to learn more. So it's an autocorrelation plot, so which you can use to arrive at a conclusion whether it's stationary or not, and you can also use that to arrive at what is the level of non-stationarity, and how you can make the non-stationary series stationary, right? How many level of differencing you need to do in order to make the non-stationary time series stationary. But easier, I mean, there's a better way to do it. To better way to test or check the non-stationary is to do an ADF test, which is a hypothesis testing. It's called Dickey-Fuller test or augmented Dickey-Fuller test. It's something I have also taught in my time series course, so you can check that out. So first I have to perform the ADF test just to be sure whether the series is stationary or not, and also check the visual plots ACF and PACF and see whether it requires differencing or not. Most likely it requires differencing. Why it requires differencing? Because you cannot do forecasting on a non-stationary data set. In order to make it stationary, you need to do differencing. Differencing is handled automatically within the ARIMA function, but if you don't want to do that, you can also do the differencing yourself and then fit other time series models. But if you just provide what would be the level of differencing, whether it's a first order, second order differencing, then most packages will do the differencing for you directly, right? In time series, we normally would like to understand whether there is a trend that exists, whether it has some seasonality or not. Very important to understand that, right? And it is seen that CPI data is quite seasonal, right? In festival season, especially towards the end of the year, you probably see a spike in the CPI, and that will be different maybe in the other part of the year. So CPI data, because it is a bit seasonal, you need to use a model that can handle seasonality very well. Okay, and our assumption is that CPI is normally a non-stationary data and you have to first make it stationary. By the way, I'm just talking about it, but doesn't mean that it will always be stationary. Check that out. Do the ADF test yourself to check that out, and then try to find the best model for this. Okay, SARIMA is something that we think is the best model for this, or seasonal ARIMA basically, or SARIMA, because it can handle seasonality, and that's what we have done. Okay, by the way, if you have already done the differencing, you don't need to provide any value here. Otherwise, if you need a first order differencing, then make sure that if you're using the raw data without differencing, make sure that you also put the what will be the I value here in this case. Okay, and after that we have done forecasting. Okay, so fit the data, check the standard error. Normally what you do is that you start with the training data, and you have a test data, right? You split the data set, fit the model here, and do the forecasting, see the error rate or the accuracy in the test data, and if it is good, that's fine. Otherwise, try to rebuild the model and then see. Only if the model fits in the test data, then it's a good model, otherwise not. You can forecast for next 12 months, And then you could also forecast the confidence interval. Very important to forecast confidence interval, because if you just forecast inflation, it's a point estimate, but you also need confidence level. So the forecast could be like this, but the confidence interval could be somewhere like this. That means at a given point in time, you have a point estimate, what would be the expected value or expected value of the inflation in the future, but also in what range it could lie. Okay, so that is also equally important. Sharima works well for short to medium term forecasting, not for long term forecasting. So keep that in mind. In fact, time series forecasting, univariate time series forecasting, is not very suitable for long term forecasting. It's mostly suitable for short and medium term forecasting. Okay, I've said this. Make sure that you use the machine learning methods such as splitting the data into training and test data set and then building the model. Evaluated the model performance using root mean square error, and there are also other matrices you could use. And always test the model performance in the test data set, not in the training data set. There are several weaknesses, shortcomings of such a model, and one must know this. Otherwise, you would be very confident of your model output in the future, and you have to be very careful about it. All models are wrong, some models are useful, right? And it's very difficult to know which models will turn out to be wrong. And the job of a modeler or the developer of the model is to minimize this error, right? But there could be in instances where you could go wrong, right? So if you're investing your own money based on this forecast, make sure that you take margin of safety. That means you don't put all your money. Be careful with that. Have risk management practices in place while doing that. There may be structural breaks. That means there may be a complete change in the inflation trend at a given point in the future, and then that there's no trend reversal after that. So in that case, your model will not do a good job. There may be a policy change, central bank intervention into the matter, or government doing something. Primarily, inflation is a matter of the central bank. The central bank may increase the interest rates to have a bit of a control on the inflation rate hike. So that could also change the potential future value of the CPI index, and there the model could go wrong. There is a non-linearity involved. That means it's not a clear straight line. There may be ups and downs. There may be non-linearity involved in the inflation rates in the future, and that is difficult to predict. The model does a good job most of the times, but sometimes it could do a bad job. And therefore, the interval estimate is so important, right? And not just the point estimate. One other thing you could do is that don't just use one model, use multiple models and see which model is actually doing or performing the best in the test data set. You could also use the machine learning models to do the forecasting for inflation. Not many people use machine learning models for time series forecasting, but do use that and see if it is doing a good job on the test data set, and then do the comparison with the performance of the traditional ARIMA or SARIMA model and see which one is doing better. So that can, if LSTM is doing better, then that can act as a benchmark for you. And then you could also do some adjustment on your ARIMA model just to be sure that you are using the best ARIMA model that is available to you. Okay, so these are some of the things I wanted to talk about. If you really want to do, go and do this on Python. It's easy, not a big project. You can finish this within a few hours. In fact, it's just a one-day project. It will be a really good project on your CV if you want to work in finance or you want to work in data science in the future. Okay, thank you. See you in another video.